Hey everybody, welcome. This is The Process. This is Dr. John Bush. We're going to do our snaps report video lesson here. I'm going to go through the data and you can see how I think about data and making decisions, analysis, that kind of thing. Please, I'll be having targets and attempts later in the week and then matchups. And uh, I also am on a podcast uh, as well, me and D Mike, and you can check that out. And all this will be at fakepigskin.com, and you can also visit my classroom. It has 100 and something articles, video lessons for you, and you can see what I was thinking coming into this season. Okay, so this is week 4. We're looking across then a landscape of 4 weeks. This is average of team snaps, and I scaled it to the league average. So I used average twice there. So these are the teams, okay, and I colorized some green, that's probably good, some red, that's not so good. And I did average team snaps, just the total team snaps average uh, week 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is a 4-week average. Okay. And then for us to understand, I think, the relationship of what a team has done to the complete whole league, you have to scale your numbers and subtract the average of that. I think it's around 66 or so, probably right in there is average. So I took that number, subtracted 66 or something, and up at 13.9. So it's the same, but now you know that Tennessee, and probably because of overtime, they have 13.9 times more than the league average team. So they're heavy into snaps. And if you'll go back before, there is strong correlation, statistically so, with a team's rushing attempts, not passing, nothing there, rushing. So take a look at some of these teams and think about the usage of the running backs on those teams. And I'm not saying one running back, I'm saying the running backs. And Henry is number 1. Guess what? Tennessee tops. Okay, Buffalo has been strong with Moss and Singletary. Eckler, the Chargers. Okay, Jacobs and Drake and I don't know who else. The Raiders, Minnesota, Detroit, Dallas, Atlanta, and Carolina have all been more rushing forward teams. Seattle has not been using Chris Carson well. There may be some injuries, looks like this week. Cincinnati, everybody was talking about where's Mixon. Well, yeah, where is Mixon? Right? Look at Cincinnati. What are you doing here? New Orleans, what's Kamara up to? Chicago, Houston, the Rams, Washington, they are all probably underutilizing their running backs because their snaps are not very high. Okay, so I graphed this. This is the average at 0. Here's the green, and you can see the trend line of the scaled team snaps down from Tennessee to Seattle. So probably a lot more passing going on here, a little bit more rushing here. That's just kind of sets the flavor for your daily fantasy, etc., trades, etc., for this season. Obviously, the more data we get, the more this will fine tune. But that's what I'm taking away from this metric, is thinking about uh, teams that can dominate the snaps of a matchup, okay, and probably through rushing versus quick passing, okay. So now you have that information to plug into. You need to use this to think about your lineup. So I might star your running backs and put a minus by these running backs. Just, things, if you've got Ezekiel Elliott versus Kamara, I would go there, right? Cook versus Mixon, I would go there. That kind of thing. So you can break some good ties there with this data. Okay. To try to deal with overtime, I figure out teams' total offensive, the time of offensive possession. I call it tops. And I looked at week 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the metric is snaps per second that the player had. So if they were playing all the time, they would get a lot more snaps per a second than player that was playing 1 or 2. And so I calculated the average over 4 weeks, players snaps per second on each team, and sorted by that. So interestingly, Seattle was at the bottom of team average snaps, but they're pretty high in player snaps per second. You're saying, well, what does that mean? Probably less players playing that Seattle's depending on. So that means there's less troops, right, in the army. So be aware of that. Rams are number 1, Detroit, Philly, Tampa Bay, Jacksonville, Seattle. New Orleans is having issues, folks, and people, well, what's wrong with New Orleans? Look right here. I can tell you what's wrong. Okay? They are all wacky in their player snaps per second. They're not utilizing players efficiently. Carolina's having an issue. Kansas City, I do know that last week they kind of woke up, but if you look, and I colorized the 4, last couple weeks have been pretty good, but week 3 was stellar. Green Bay really woke up last week, so you can start seeing teams that were waking up and look at the top teams. So these were the top teams probably, for, you take a look at week 1, these were pretty good teams even then, but notice they really nailed it down week 4. So their players are getting a lot more probably opportunities per second. If you think of a snap as an opportunity, then call it opportunities. I scaled to the league average so you can kind of see the true proportion of, and look at New Orleans at the bottom and the Rams at the top. Tampa Bay's there. There's that Brady. So the Rams are looking really good here. So is Tampa Bay. So Seattle's not, even though they don't have a lot of snaps, of the snaps they have, their players are really getting a big bang for their buck. So I do like that. So sometimes you'll have metrics that are saying different things, and that's the kind of the graduate education here. So be aware of that. This is some neat data here. I really like this. And if we look at that, I just blew it up, scaled team snaps per average, and then scaled snaps per second. So I did the rate, which is rate in science means there's always something per time. So it's snaps per time. And this is just raw team snaps. And so now we can compare, and I kept the rate the same, the labeling, but you can see what the landscape looks like. And it's very interesting to me that near average of the rate of snappage in players is also where there's a lot of teams that have a lot of snaps. So there are some issues. Look at New Orleans. They're bottom. Carolina's a little high, but still, they're not in the top 4 or 5, but they're not bad. Kansas City's below here and low. So just, I would look at the extremes. Denver, KC, New Orleans, Miami, Green Bay's an issue, Chicago. Those are all teams that kind of are bottom. They're below average on both ways to look at team activities. So that's not good. Detroit, I think they got a shot to be better. They just have a bad defense, I think. There's Tampa Bay. Look at that. Right there. It's already setting the table. They're in the top rate of snaps and numbers of snaps. Look at that. Above, anything above is positive, below is negative. And of course, there's the inflection point there. This is negative, this is positive. The Raiders here, not bad. Look at Tennessee, but notice the rate is kind of near average. So Dallas, not too bad. Arizona is not too bad, high here. So think about that, and there's some issues. Here's Seattle, worst in snaps, but not bad in the rate of the snaps they're delivering to the players, just like the Rams. So I think the Rams probably are going to be competitive, but I see Tampa Bay is probably still putting it together. To me, they're in target to repeat. Just seeing this tells me they're going to be a handful to deal with. And poor New Orleans here. Not so in Kansas City. People, what's going on with Kansas City this year? Well, there's some issues. Seeing them bottom here is an issue. So note the stars, note the extremes here, the negatives and the positives. Okay. So this is snaps per second, and I added usage amongst teams' usage here. If you add all the averages of the running backs, tight ends, and wide receivers and figure out the proportion that these positions play in the team, you can get usage by snaps, by the rate of snaps. And so you've seen all this data. This is the new data here. Okay, so I kind of colorized. And usually teams tend to be pretty good running back. You know, their tight end tends to be kind of weak, and the running backs tend to be about 40% or better. So I'm kind of looking at some levels here. I see Max Williams is doing something 2 of the 4 weeks. But historically, Arizona has not put a lot of eggs in that basket. He's just been kind of lucky getting some touches, yet he's getting some targets. So that's sometimes data is conflicting. Atlanta, they really like their pits. Look at that. Look at the wide receivers. 33% is poor, folks. Atlanta's going to have to, this needs to flip. This needs to be closer to 40%, so that's not good. Baltimore is all about the passing now. Here's Mark Andrews at 30. That's not bad, but it's not great. Okay. Buffalo, 34% here. I know everybody's talking about Dawson Knox, but 28%, and they're getting close to 40%. So I'm go through and scan the usage here and just start getting a little bit of a feeling. Now, once again, I have argued landscape views from top to bottom helps you eliminate player biases or last week. See, I mean, I've got some broad data that doesn't look at extreme player, up or downs. So you get all kind of wacky about that. This allows you to kind of eat a little spoon at a time through my data to kind of get a clear picture. Remember, we're trying to predict the future here, so clarity is only as good as what we put in with our analytics. Carolina, boy, you would think McCaffrey would get more activity. 41's fine. Chicago 47. It's a little bit high. When you start getting close to 50, that's almost too much skewing. Cincinnati, folks, they love their tight ends. So if people, where's this Uzuma coming? Well, right here is where he's coming from. And look at that. Week 1, week 4. So that tells me there's a good streamer right there. Bam. For waiver wires this week, if you need a streamer tight end, I don't know the matchups, so you'd have to weigh that, but that gets my attention. Cleveland, same thing. Hooper, Njoku, however, they're splitting. Look at Chubb and Hunt. Look at that. 20%? That is not what I like to see at all. They're Chubb and Hunt are doing heroic work with 20% usage. Not good. Dallas, probably about average, actually. A little bit nice with the Schultz. There's 32. He's viable, 32. Fant at 32. A little bit below on the passing. Look at Detroit. Hawkinson. So if you put Hawkinson out, do you bamboozle then the Detroit? I think you do. 32%. That is so weak now. With that said, they did pop up a little bit. Week 3 was a big time low that they started popping back up. So maybe that will get better, but they've been consistent in the tight end usage. So I'm not giving up on Hawkinson yet. Running backs and tight ends kind of equal. And Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks, and 35%. It's only a little bit above Detroit levels. Come on, man. Green Bay is not playing to its strength here. That's all I got to say about that. Houston, we got problems in the running back. I think everybody knows that. Be aware, now this did fall down week 4. That really dropped, but 38%, there's some interest in their tight ends. And Houston loves the Cooks. So there it is right there. Running backs for Indianapolis, I think we were thinking that would be above 30, so that's not good. Mo Alley Cox and Doyle are flip-flopping. 31's good, but I'd like it to be 38 if you had one of those. 40%, Jacksonville loves their running back. Okay, everybody been talking bad about the running back situation in Jacksonville. I see good news here. I don't see good news other than Marvin Jones at 36. That's low. KC, I know that Blair got some touchdowns and some activity, but his snap per second rate was still piss poor at 23%. Kelsey should be higher than 33, folks. Come on. I'm concerned here. Kansas City, it's just not how I would have predicted all this distribution here at all. Chargers, they're not using their running backs efficiently. They love Cook as another streamer right there, and they love their wide receivers, even though they did drop a little bit. Last week was about as bad as week 1, so they had great week 2 and 3, but they dropped a little bit here, so keep your eyes there. Rams, 27, it's The tight end Higbee still getting some attention. Okay, don't forget about him. I would think with Cooper Kupp, and they got a lot of run week 4, they would do better. Raiders, love Waller, 38. So like Detroit, and I'm not sure that's a winning formula. Raiders, 33%. Too many eggs in this basket, not enough here. Miami, all about that passing. Got a little bit of bump with Gesicki. 29 is okay, but it's not great. Dalvin Cook at 24%. What? I know he's been hurt, but not good. 30% Conklin. I'm watching. 45% is a little high, but that's kind of where they've been doing it. New England, 18%, folks. That is, if you're looking for Harris, you want, why come it's not doing good this year? Well, look at that, 18%. It's ridiculous. Henry and Njoku, 42 is great, but they're both getting fed. Not good. 40% is adequate there. New Orleans, below average here. They don't really have a good tight end to justify that. Look at last week is suck, and I mean, nothing really here. Look at Minnesota's 20, basically 24-18. I mean, we can ignore the numbers and just look at the 1708. That's not good, folks. This is New England. This is not good. 14-67. That's not good. Barkley at 23. That's not strong. Ingram is going to be a factor. Of course, the first 2 weeks. So if this continues, then that means they're not using him. So, and the wide receivers 38, a little below. So I'm underwhelmed there by the Giants here. All about the passing with the Jets. This is same thing here. A little underwhelming with Philadelphia, folks. 37 is kind of Same thing with Philadelphia. So we see 1, 2, 3 teams that are very much alike. They're putting a lot of their eggs in the wide receiver basket, and I just don't know. Look at the quarterbacks here. Not sure that's going to get them too far. Seattle, forget Chris Carson at 17. Look at that. I know he's got some injuries, and Collins came on. That might have been the issue. So even though we pick up Collins, I wouldn't spend a lot of money on him, folks, with 17% usage. That's piss poor. Disley can be a streamer. Don't forget, 45% gets my attention. 38's low compared to Lockett and Metcalf. I would like to see these numbers actually flipped. That would make me much happier. San Francisco, kind of blah. 31's okay. Tight end Kittle, 33. It should be closer to 38. And this is below 40. So I'm underwhelmed by San Francisco. Tampa Bay, love their Gronk. And they really used their 2 other tight ends. I mean, they were in that rain. They were really doing this kind of activity and ignoring. So if you want to know what happened to Godwin and Evans and all the right there, take a look. Take a look. So low, medium, high, low, medium, high, low, medium, high, high, very, so medium, high, low. So week 4 was way out of game script for Tampa Bay. So you can use that. Tennessee, look, week 4 and 1 looked the same. So the tight ends were low, but overall 33. But I think the numbers are going to be more skewed to the wide receivers. Henry at 30%, that's still, for what he's doing, 30% is low. Washington, look at that. With Gibson, Kissick, come on, man. Ricky Seals-Jones has a shot if Logan doesn't play. He's a good streamer. But Washington, Low, medium, high, low, medium, high. Look at it. High, low, medium, high, low, medium. So they've had this style of play and that style of play. So Washington needs to figure out what style works. Okay. So see, sometimes you can get a feel for what the team's doing. They don't even know what they're doing. Love my metric. Okay, so the big question is, well, compared to all running backs, where are the teams at? Here's the highs and the lows, folks. And so what I did this time, it's really interesting. In Excel, you can set levels at the population. So I did the top 25% and the bottom 25% are the green and the red. So you can see the extreme low and extreme highs here. And this chart bar graph shows you the same thing. Look at Carson right here. New England right there. So there, if you have running backs here, be aware there's going to be a price to pay. You want the Jacksonville running back, the Buffalo running backs, Washington running backs, Arizona, Detroit, Green Bay, Philly, Baltimore, San Francisco. That's good. That's bad. Okay, so now you can start putting some notations to your lineups here a little bit. I know we got to have matchups. That's a nice piece. But this is just showing overall performances, and you need to be awake to this. Okay, if you want to move your game to the next level, if you want to be in a position, I would urge you to do your own research and work, but feel free to start working on that next year. But, I'd say now's the time to chop the wood and be better. Tight ends are a little skewed. Seattle, #1 usage. Now, see, the thing with tight ends and snaps, some of them use tight ends for blocking purposes. Some, use for catching, like New England's catching. Cleveland, Cincinnati, that's interesting. I think Ingram has a shot. Houston, and here's Waller. Pitts is getting some interest. It's just he hadn't put it together yet. Arizona, I know Max Williams is there, but overall, Chicago, Cole Kmet, sad. Knox is in the doghouse. Maybe he's moving out. I don't even know who's Carolina's tight end. Same for Pittsburgh. Jacksonville thinks they've got Arnold, so maybe that's going to move them out. Just be aware. Look at Andrews. Andrews should not be in the doghouse here. Look at this. Conklin should not be in the doghouse, but there you go. So find the highs and the lows here for usage. Wide receivers, here's the good, the average, and the sad. Here's the sad. Jacksonville, Washington, San Francisco, Green Bay. What? Cincinnati, Raiders, Atlanta, and Detroit is the saddest of the sad. Chicago loves their wide receiver. Maybe too much. Minnesota, KC, Chargers, Pittsburgh, Arizona, Houston. Houston with Cooks. Don't forget about it. Carolina, Indianapolis, the Jets. Okay, people are saying, oh, the Jets, fluke. I want wide receivers on teams that are using their wide receivers. So that's a tendency you need to try to strive for there. This is team based. So we've been looking, and this is just breaking it to usage so you can see the patterns. I went through all these, but if you need some visuals, the orange is the running back, the tight end is blue, and the wide receivers are red. So the pattern here is kind of common, this V-shaped pattern. To me, seeing more of a U-shaped pattern is not good. I like to see wide receivers. Here's that pattern here with Buffalo. So notice that's working here at Arizona. I'm not seeing that here or there. So you can take a look. Carolina's almost getting there. Chicago may be overdoing it. Cincinnati has deep worries, folks, when you see this kind of pattern. And Cleveland is there as well. And this is sad for the running backs here. Sad. Nice. I like the diagonal patterns too. This looks like a loser pattern to me. I'm going to get more into detail on this. I should go back and do research in off season so I can speak to you more of patterns. You want to do a big question? Use and do this question. Is there any relationship between a team's usage patterns and their success on the field? Maybe point scoring, I don't know. PPR points, find some type of, end of the pipeline stat to measure. A little too high here, Houston. This needs to go down and give it to your running backs a little bit to get a diagonal. This is okay. Indianapolis. Here's that U shape. So Jacksonville has a shot. Here's the diagonal here. I like that. So if you're into stock market, I know they do a lot of candlesticks and all these other kinds of symbols. They are trying to quantify patterns and they're giving it a name so that we can remember it. So that's why I'm trying to do the same thing, not just saying U or V or diagonal. I'm trying for us to think about the team when I say that. What has the team done so far, right? To me, this looks a little low. This should be here for the nice diagonal. It's tapering off here. So that if the Rams don't make it to the Super Bowl and this continues, that'll be the reason. This pattern worries me. It's like everything is based over here. Miami, a little bit low here, but not too bad. It's pretty extreme, Minnesota. See if you can make it work. This, this is really strange. Almost a J pattern here. That's not good. Diagonal, it's a little low here. This looks like a loser pattern. Giants. This is not a strong pattern. This, This looks like a loser. Dear Seattle, you got issues. San Francisco, it's a little too tight. It should be more of a diagonal. Trying to be diagonal Tampa Bay, and Brady will probably shake it out, and this is going to be higher. Again, Tennessee, that's not bad. And here's this pattern, not as extreme. So I'm just wondering if there's some secrets there. Anyway, take a look at this. Write down teams' points or so. Just kind of start doing this. I'll try to do this every week. Okay, so now we're to the player rate of snaps per second. So I actually give that metric. And what I did, again, I colorized the week 1, 2, 3, and 4 with the top 25 and the bottom 25 across the positions. And then I did the same thing with average player per snaps totals for the player. And any differences, green is they've improved last week versus the week before or declined. So look team by team. So for instance, Edmonds really perked up. That's good as a positive. Connor went positive. I don't know about Ward, but there he is. Max Williams, actually, even though he got a touchdown, kind of declined from week 3. So 1 and 3 versus 2 and 4. So what are we going to get? I'm not worried about the other tight ends here. Hopkins and Green are the top 1 and 2. Unfortunately, Hopkins is not he's in nice average here. Kurt was pretty good last week. Not sure where they want to put more. He might be talented, but he's stuck behind here, folks. They all improved last week. Atlanta, Mike Davis, not bad. Gallman, I am interested. They pulled him out. Pitts is getting attention, but Hurst really stepped it up. So is that a 1 week surprise, or have they figured out the Pitts experiment's not going to get them stuff? I'm curious. Week 5 and 6, 7 are going to tell us that tale. Ridley's the top. Zacharias, I guess. He's top. And nobody else really hits. And then you can look here. Everybody went up except for Tyson Williams. I do not and cannot explain what Baltimore's doing. Andrews went down. Yeah, he's top, but they're not. Look at first 3 weeks and then drop. Watkins is the sure thing, even though Brown's probably the more talented. So you probably want to have both of those. And this guy, Devin is clear of number 3 there. Singletary Moss took over. So bad news for Singletary, good news for Moss. Knox, look at that, last 3. Everybody's going to jump on him. But he did have week 1, but I'm hoping it's all going to work out. Sanders dropped. It was all Diggs. Beasley. Gabriel improved of all those. So maybe he's coming back to fight for 3rd, 4th spot. Caffrey was gone. Chuba Hubbard, notice not high or low. It's kind of Paid a lot of money for Arnold's gone, so I guess it was Thomas, but he didn't do anything. Moore and Anderson are back. Pretty close is Marshall, so it's a little confusing who gets what there. Montgomery got hurt, so people were drafting Williams and Herbert, so I'm got both on my waiver wire. Kimmett, I don't know what to say about him. I'm not pleased he's getting a lot of snaps per second, but he's not turning them into points. Everybody's talking about Mooney. They all, Mooney and Robinson are 1 and 2 clearly, but they all both dropped last week with Fields. So I don't know what that means. I'm cautious on both of those. Mixon was really used weeks 1 and 2, weeks 3 and 4, sucky usage, so that's not good. P. Ryan, I guess, is number 2. So if Mixon's hurt, then I guess P. Ryan and Evans. I went and tried to get both those. Azuma. So folks going to be like Max Williams, going to have their weeks. A good streamer right there. Just good luck trying to find the time. Chase, clearly number 1. Higgins and Boyd are the number 2 and 3, I guess. But, I don't think any of these other guys are coming in. But Chase is clearly outstepped Boyd. Chubb and Hunt, there's no green, no red. It's bleh. And they should not be bleh. Hooper really got a lot of attention, so that intrigues me. OBJ, that's about it. Nobody else is really making a move on it. Ready to get Landry back. Ezekiel Elliott, Pollard really dropped down tonight, so I don't know what you're getting there with Pollard. Schultz, everybody's saying, hey, Schultz, well, he's scoring, but he's been pretty steady. But he's clearly the number 1, so it's not jarring. Lamb, Cooper, Gallup, even Gallup but they both dropped. I guess Lamb was more steady, but Cooper got the touchdown. Did Lamb get anything? I don't think so. I guess until Gallup comes back, Wilson is the number 3. Gordon and Javonte are crisscrossing each other. they did in week 1 as well. So people were, oh, well, Javante's catching up. Well, no, week 1 they were tied. So I don't think that script is fully written, folks. Fant, it's all about the Fant right there. I drafted him as much as I could. Sutton and Patrick, 1 and 2. I don't see anything else unless Judy comes back, and even there he was the 3rd choice. So not sure. I don't know when Judy's coming back. I'm not sure he's as valuable as people think. Swift, Jamal Williams is just not catching up. Swift is dominating here. Jamal actually went down a little bit. Hawkinson, it's all about the Hawk right there. Khalif Raymond, Cephas, and Amon Ra are 1, 2, 3, and it's been 1, 2, 3. So those, is Williams gone for the year? I don't remember. Anyway, I don't think there's anybody going to get in their way. I have picked up Raymond in a few places and Cephas. These are deep flex plays on the best of times. Aaron Jones, there's no green there. It's blah. Okay. Tanyan, everybody talking about, oh, Tanya, he's going to score. Well, they see this number. What about the weeks before? So I'm not convinced. Adams, clearly top dog. Lazard came in. I just don't. Cobb, is he going to be the number 2? I don't know. This is confusing to me. David Johnson is the one, and Ingram dropped, Lindsey dropped, Burkhead dropped. I don't know what Houston's doing. Tight ends, the numbers say Pharaoh Brown's the one to get. I don't know if he's streamable yet. Cooks, Conley. It's your 1, 2. Maybe Miller's the 3rd. I think Cooks is just the volume play only. Taylor, Hines, bleh. They're not high or low. Mo Alley Cox got a lot of play over Doyle last week. And look, Granson got more. I don't know what happened to Doyle. That's sad. I don't know if he's hurt. What's going on? Keep your eyes on that. Cox may be the one he may be the lead now. Pittman, Pascal, 1 and 2. Campbell's hit or miss. You just don't know what you're getting with him. A lot of variation there. Robinson, man, yeah, I think he's the real deal. Okay. Arnold was the new guy, but really, that's not a great number right here. That's an number. Jones, clear 1. Chanel is the 2. I guess Tavon Austin is the 3. Not sure how deep I'm going. Probably just Jones for me, but I know people are going for Chanel. That's fine, but it's a flex for me. Soler got some scores, but he actually dropped in rate. So I remain unconvinced. Kelsey is Kelsey. Tyreek's Tyreek. And good luck picking the number 2. So give Soler, keep the defenses guessing, but it's the Kelsey Tyreek show. Eckler went down a little bit, even though he did score well. So take that. I guess Roundtree's the number 2. I guess. I don't know. Not a strong number 2. Cook's kind of been Cook. But nothing dramatic. He dropped a little bit, but he did score. So I guess it's viable. It's the Allen Williams show. They're both 1 and 2. Guyton's sitting there to clear 3. He's only going to move up if one of these is injured. So you would have somebody If you have a deep bench, I'm telling you, you stockpile him. He's a stockpile if you can. If not, when Williams or Allen goes down, people will be paying for him. So you'll lose some fab money there. Henderson's back. Okay. Sony's gone. What is that? I don't know what's going on there. Not sure I'm going to hold on to Michelle. I'm going to wait a few weeks, but that's piss poor. Higby's still there. I just don't know if he's going to really wake up. It's Cup, Woods. Jefferson is number 3. Jefferson is getting a lot of attention. Okay, but dogs are barking. Raiders, shh, pet you. Jacobs, Drake, Waller's the show. Brian Edwards and Ruggs, even though did Renthal catch a touchdown? He's the number 3, folks. So, I don't know. I'm not enamored with their passing, and you can look at the usage. It's not strong. Miami, Malcolm Brown, way over Gaskins. What is going on? So if you've got Gaskins, you probably want Malcolm Brown. Gesicki dropped a little, but he's clearly the number 1. I just wish he would score more. Parker, Waddle, here we go. They're the clear 1-2. So take them if you got them. Dalvin Cook's back, but take a look at the usage. So be aware that he was not fully utilized as he was. The data pretty much says it. And look at Madison those years. So see, it was pretty close. So Conklin should be getting more attention, but I don't know. Thielen, Jefferson, Osborne's the clear 3. He's another one of these. You better have him in case one of these is injured. Harris, he's the one, but Bolden got a lot of play too, being the pass catcher. So he's the James White now. Both these guys cut into each other. So not good. Myers is the only solid one. Aguilar's the number 2. Bourne's the number 3. And they all dropped. N'Keal Harry come back, but not so strong. Let's just watch him. Kamara's being used. It's just like he's used well. Montgomery's now the handcuff. Troutman, I'm not taking any tight ends. Callaway, still waiting for those scores, and good luck picking the number 2. New Orleans is a mess. Barkley, all about the Barkley. There he is. I guess Booker's the number 2. He's not really being used. Ingram outdid Rudolph, so I think that's going to continue. Galladay and Tony, 1 and 2 last week, but overall, Shepard, when he gets back, should take a look at his numbers. 0.03, and that's higher, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. So there you go. The Jets and Davis and Crowder. So but take a look. Berrios dropped when Crowder came back, so I think that tells us what we need to know about him. I would eject him unless Moore doesn't come back. Sanders, Gainwell's, he's getting stronger. So be aware, Sanders. If you got Sanders, not good. Goddard, back, but he was week 1, week 4. Not sure. They're using both. Devonta Smith, Rager, and Watkins. 1, 2, 3, just like it says. Not worried about anybody else. Pittsburgh, all about the Harris. Forget the tight ends. Dante's back. Juju is back. Washington's a solid. With Claypool out, Washington's a solid 3. Just don't know if you can make a living messing with those guys. Seattle, they said Carson's got a neck injury. Looks to me like Collins has been building, and there it is. So I'm all in on getting Collins, especially if got Carson. But you're going to pay for it. Everett, so Disley is the show right there. I think he'll be the pass catcher. Metcalf, Lockett, and Swain will probably be fighting for third or fourth slot with Disley. So, not sure. Swain is just an injury handcuff guy. Juszczyk, he's the number 1 by rate. Sermon, I don't know. Good luck picking these guys when I all come back. So, I don't know. Kittle, he's getting you lots of play, but didn't Dwelly get a touchdown? Ayuk and Samuel, clear 1-2, but I think San Francisco's not using, if you look at the usage, not strong. Tampa Bay, Fournette's back. I didn't know he left. Yeah, he left. Ronald Jones. For Ronald Jones, he had a pretty good week. Brayton Howard, pick him if Gronk's out. Evans and Godwin. Antonio is the third. I just don't know if he's going to be a touchdown person like we think. Tennessee, Henry's the one. I like McNichols, and I picked him up every place I could. All day long picking him up. Tight ends are Nick Westbrook, not bad. Rodgers and Reynolds. Waiting for Brown and Jones to come back. Confusing. Oh, these 2 numbers should be right there. My bad. See, I forgot the hyphen. So, my database. Gibson, McKissick is not red, not greens, bleh, average. Logan Thomas got hers. Seal Jones is obviously the handcuff. So, if you believe in Washington's tight ends, they do get a little play and usage, so you might pick him up as a deep streamer. Can I say the deep streamer? Humphreys, I don't know what to do with him. Dynamic has declined. Samuel's back. I think he's going to move up here. I think week 5 we'll know what Samuel's is going to be here week 5 and 6. So he might be worth an ad just to wait and hold. Okay, last is the positives and negatives, the good news, bad news. So you could read the top list of running backs who did better week 4 and the ones that did worse. So, not to say that this is what they'll do week 5, it's just waiver wires, you do have to consider the position as well. So think about what's going on here, who's doing what, where. There's some interesting names for me. Marlon Mack, Murray, they may be some deep plays. Montgomery in New Orleans is clear handcuff to Kamara. Jerry McNichols, that gets me intrigued. I've taken him everywhere I could. So start stashing for the long days ahead. Tight end, Ricky Seal-Jones, number 1. So that really tells you something. I don't know about this guy. Howard's back. Frisker, Disley. I believe Disley's going to be the show in Seattle. Hurst came back. I don't know. Arnold. So there's a lot of things happening. Take a look at all that. Here's the declines here. Not happy to see Grosecki on the decline list. The upper ups are 2 columns worth, so 50. And then I got the bottom 50 as well. So Reynolds, Deontay, Tavon Austin, Brown, Crowder, Schuster, Wilson, Samuel. So Ross, where did he come from? Rogers. So take a look at some of these. These could be 1-week wonders or not. Here's some more that you can look at as well. So some good names there. Some decliners. Sanders dropped a little bit. Not too bad. So let's start at the worst. Crapo, of course. Sharp's gone. Barrios, not sure I'd keep him. Moore wasn't played. Let's see. Julio's gone. Cooper worries me. He had an injury, but he did get a touchdown. But I think that affected him, so keep your eyes open. Swain declined. Audie declined. Jacob Myers. So Brandon Cooks went down because that was just a blowout. Allen Robinson's a perennial issue and continues. So only thing I'd hope for if you've got Robinson is maybe he catches on and gets chemistry with Fields, since Fields has been named the starting quarterback over Dalton. I'm not really excited one way or the other there. Okie dokie. I'm glad you're listening. Thanks for listening. Targets and attempts coming next. Let's crush this week.